Hello, welcome back to another Redsec video. I've not done a kind of talking about Redsec video for a while, and that's mostly because obviously we've just finished the holiday period. I'm also playing a game called Ark Raiders alongside of Redsec, and I'm doing the character expedition and trying to get to the 5 million mark. If you know Ark Raiders, you'll know what I'm talking about. So I've also been playing and grinding that. But I have been jumping on to Redsec in the evenings with my wingman here, Technation. And there are still some things about this game that are kind of bugging us slightly. And I would like to maybe just discuss and go over these things. Some of them you might agree on, some of them you might not agree on. Now the holiday period is over. It won't be long till everyone starts going back to work, and I'm hoping we start to see some plans and updates coming to Battlefield and Redsec, and it'd be interesting to see kind of what direction they're going to go next with the mode, if they're going to add some limited time modes, some new things, some new weapons, who knows. But the Battle Royale mode is it's a bit Marmite. You either love it or hate it, and there's things that people like about it and some things that people don't like, and I think we're just going to have a little chat about those things now. So one of my first kind of frustrations about the game is we're still just stuck on duos and quads. There's no solos or trios. Now, I don't know how solos is going to work, because of the class system, and I can already see that people are just everyone will just be recon, and we're going to get to that kind of reason a bit later. And obviously there's no trios, and one of the frustrating things about this is we haven't got a quad team. There's only me and Technation that plays, and we only know one other friend called Youngster who plays, but we've not been playing as a quad because we then get stuck with a randomer, and we've been finding that very frustrating because most of the randomers that you play with don't have mics, don't stick together, and it all automatically puts you at a disadvantage. Now I'd really like them to put trios in, because I don't want to be playing at that kind of annoying disadvantage of not being able to fit all your friends into a game. Unfortunately, we don't have an abundance of friends playing this game. Most of my friends are playing Ark Raiders, so we're never going to have a full squad of quads. Trios would be perfect for us. We could get Youngster in and play trios, but we can't. So one of the frustrating things of the game is that me and Tech have just been playing duos, because then it's just me and him. There's no randomers, and we pretty much have control of the game. And it gives you the chance to win. And I know it's not always about winning, and it's the fun of playing, but you know, it's nice to not be at a disadvantage of a random player. So yeah, I'm kind of hoping soon that we're going to hear about trios and solos. I'm really not sure why they're dragging their feet on this. Obviously they're trying to compete with Warzone, which I don't think is a hard thing to do currently. Obviously you have Fortnite and other games, battle royales that people are playing, but I don't really understand why they've not introduced any trios or solos. So I'm really hoping in the next part of January, February, March time, we're going to start hearing some feedback of what they're doing next, and hopefully we'll get solos and trios in the mix too. Let's talk about some of the bugs that have been happening in this game. I don't know if you have been experiencing bugs. We surely have in duos. One of the ones that really frustrates my friend Technation here is whoever is control of the jump from the helicopter at the beginning, who's the jump leader. There's a really frustrating bug that if I am the jump leader, Technation always dies on impact, even when he breaks away early. Now when he's a jump leader, I don't have the problem, and I'm not sure why, but he has many a times has landed and hit the deck. So there's this weird deploy parachute bug, I think it must be. Now, I've not seen it with my own eyes because it doesn't happen to me. So when we're playing, if Tech Nation is the jump leader, we're fine. He can pull the chute as low as possible to the ground. I'll be fine and he'll be fine. But if it's the other way round, he always dies, and we can't figure out why it's happening. It's obviously a very annoying bug, and it'd be nice if they can actually get that fixed, or even if they know about it, put in the comments if you've experienced this bug yourselves. Another bug, I don't know if you've had this one either, is the putting on the armor plates bug. Now sometimes you'll land and you'll pick up plates, but you can't put them on. There's no animation. It kind of gets stuck in the animation, or I've had a few different variations of this bug where it looks like I'm putting them on and then they don't appear. As you can see in my bottom left, you'll see my name. You'll see the health bar, which is the white bar going across, and you'll see the two kind of purple bars. That is your shield. That shows you when you've got shield on. It will show you when you've only got one on, and it will show you when you've got none on. But unfortunately, sometimes it looks like you've got no shield on, and then I have to ask Tech Nation, am I fully shielded? He'll say yes. Normally it takes you to be downed and then revived off the floor for it to go away. I remember a couple of times where we land at this building. You can see now in our gameplay there is a big crane across the way at the construction site. What we were doing is going and jumping off that and breaking our legs on purpose so the other person can get us off, just to get the glitch away, because it's really annoying not knowing or thinking you have plates equipped on your character. Obviously plates give you that advantage of when you get hit, you know, your plate damage goes down first before your health damage. Obviously if you've got no plates, you're going to die rather quickly. So yeah, that's another annoying bug that we've found quite a lot of late. Apart from that though, fingers crossed, I've not come across any other bugs. It'd be nice to know in the comments below if you have any other new bugs that we don't know about. It'd just be interesting to share. But those are the two biggest ones that have kind of interfered with our game. Audio isn't a bug, and I'm really glad obviously that they've been working on the audio, because since the last update I have found it good, but I think it could be tuned and be better. I really would like to think that they still have work to do, and they're not thinking, well, that's it, we've done it, people can hear better. I think it could be perfected, especially directional audio. You kind of hear people in a particular direction, but it'd be nice if it was tuned a little bit to kind of really hear where they are. Now, one of the biggest things of late is, I think personally, this is just my own, this is just myself, I'm thinking there's a couple of cheaters squeezing through the gaps of Battlefield 6 anti-cheat. I haven't got any major hardcore evidence. There's just been over the last week or so of playing, there's just been a few sus moments, I will say. Some moments where I kind of go, oh, hang on a sec. And there was this one player in the game before this one that beamed us both. And even, I don't hear Tech say it often, but even he said, I think that guy's cheating. And even I was a bit sus. And then there was a game yesterday where we was on top of the hill at the edge of the map, and there was a tank, and I was trying to shoot with a rocket launcher, and when I say it beamed me in seconds, it beamed me in seconds. Now I've been in some of these tanks, the bigger tank and the smaller tank, and yes, when the person is really, really close, I've been able to beam people and kill them, but we were quite far away, and I went down with absolute speed. So I wasn't sure if he had some kind of cheats going on. It was really suspicious, and I've noticed in the last week that we've both kind of been a bit like, whoa, hang on a sec. So I'm kind of hoping that Battlefield kind of continue with updating their anti-cheat, keeping it strong, keeping it fresh, keeping it going, because we don't want to be in a place like Warzone. And it's funny how I mentioned Warzone, because I think the biggest concern that I am really not enjoying at the moment is Battlefield Redsec kind of finding its own identity as a battle royale and not kind of copying what we've already had. Now, if you've played battle royale and you've played Warzone, you will frustratingly understand when I kind of mention the word metas and just brokenness in the game. And I really feel, not with the weapons, I feel like the weapons are pretty good, but there is a meta currently in Redsec Battle Royale, and that is in the class system. That is with the fact you can pick a class, engineer, you got sniper, obviously you got assault, and you have medic. And the meta I'm talking about is the recon, the sniper with the recon drone, and the other device he puts down, I can't remember the word of it, that can kind of put in a mini UAV on the floor, you can see players. I really think that this has created a meta in Redsec, and it was a meta I didn't really want to see. Playing Warzone for so long and just being overshadowed by the meta where you could only use particular guns because they were broken and the best, or there were other things that were broken in the game that made weapons the meta. It was nice to get away from that when Redsec came out, but unfortunately, in my opinion, we're kind of right back in there with this, having to use a particular thing because it is the meta. Now, I like being an engineer because obviously you get tanks on this game. I don't mind the tanks. I don't think they're overpowered. They're quite easy to take out if you have the right machinery of rocket launchers. If you're the engineer, obviously you have more perks when it comes to the rocket launcher, reloading quicker, all that kind of stuff. So having tanks in this game does not bother me. Some people like it, some people don't. It can be frustrating when you die from a tank at the end, but that's just how the game works. A lot of time I can tend to take tanks out, and I get taken out a lot in tanks. So I don't think the tanks are the meta. I think the problem is the class system. I think the recon drone is the meta. The recon class, recon drone is the meta at the moment. And this is why I was saying earlier about will solos work if there's a class system, because I can guarantee that everyone will just be a recon in solos, trying to see where everyone else is. This is, for me, it's not working. This is, for me, is the thing that I feel they have to change going forward. Why can't they just make it a standard battle royale with no classes, where you can find rocket launchers, where you can find the ladders and the fixing tool for the tanks, where you can find the recon and the equipment in the boxes instead of having it on classes, so everyone has the chance of finding these things. Maybe make them rarer, maybe make them hard to find, or that there's a small chance of finding them. But instead of having it in a class system where everyone's going to be running that class, or maybe if they did solos, they just didn't have the class system in solos, it was just a stripped back battle royale. I can understand when you're in a team that one of you can be recon and one of you can be engineer, or one of you can be recon and one of you can be a medic. The problem is, though, and they've made this meta, that the fact that you have to have someone as a recon, because if you play in a team and none of you are recon, you are really at a massive disadvantage. We have had some wins where if Tech Nation wasn't the recon with his recon drone, we would not have known where the people were, and we wouldn't have been able to relocate and move accordingly to pick and choose where we're fighting from. And I think it's one of the things that has to change. I don't really want to be playing a battle royale all over again that has a meta in it. And this is my problem. And as I was talking about, what is Redsec's identity? Does it want to be its own version of a battle royale and do something unique? Or is it just trying to copy Warzone? Or is it just trying to steal Warzone players to it? Because as well as having this meta recon and this meta recon class, we also have airstrikes, cluster strikes, and UAVs. Now, these are three things you don't get in the multiplayer side of Battlefield. You never have. But all of a sudden, they create their own battle royale. They're trying to kind of compete in the battle royale area of gaming and making their money and having a battle pass and all of that. But to me, they're kind of trying to make it feel a bit like Warzone, kind of like they're trying to say, hey, you tired of Warzone? Come and join our Battle Royale. Yes, it's a bit different because it's Battlefield and we have tanks in it, but we also have what you're familiar with, and that's kill streaks, that's airstrikes, that's cluster strikes, and that's UAVs. Now, personally, when I left Warzone to play Redsec, I was really relieved to have a change from the same old tosh of Warzone, getting killed by airstrikes, cluster strikes, and constantly being on everyone's minimap and people just pushing me hardcore every time because they just knew where you were. And I was really feeling like Redsec was going to be a nice breath of fresh air, something different. But what they've actually done is they've just copied Warzone. And I think they're doing it to draw in the Warzone players because they want to be the dominant battle royale. But as someone who's kind of was tired of Warzone and tired of how their battle royale went, I was really hoping that Redsec was going to bring something new to the table, something different and something fresh. But actually, the more I play it now, the downside is the more it just feels like Warzone. Because when you get to the end of the circle, everyone's just chucking down cluster strikes and airstrikes and popping UAVs, and it just feels like Warzone all over again. And I am quite massively disappointed because I wanted to have a change from that battle royale, and I feel like Redsec is frustratingly just kind of following suit in that. And it is a shame because since the last big update they did, and they fixed the audio and they fixed quite a few things, I was actually starting to enjoy Redsec a little bit more. But this kill streak side of it is kind of dampening my spirits when I'm playing the game again, and I'm just really getting quite fed up with it. I'm really hoping they can think about kind of what they want to do with their battle royale, kind of what kind of battle royale they want to be, and not just copying someone else's game and someone else's ideas. I understand that, you know, that they want to compete with Call of Duty and Warzone. Warzone has kind of had its day now. A lot of people are really frustrated with it, and I think they're screaming for kind of something new. And I think this is why also Arc Raiders is kind of really kicking off as well, because Arc Raiders has brought something completely fresh to the table. But Redsec in itself, I think, could be and has the potential to be a really great battle royale if it can find its own identity and stop copying what other battle royales are doing. This is just my opinion. You might not agree with me at all. You might be totally fine with Redsec. You might be saying, well, no, you're just having a little bit of a whinge, you're talking nonsense. That is completely fine. And it's like I said, everyone's liking different things about this battle royale. I really don't mind tanks being in this battle royale, and as you can see from my gameplay currently, I actually take this tank out now, so tanks aren't massively a meta. Luckily I managed to throw a rocket right behind it, boom, tank's disabled, so that tank is no longer a worry. But when it comes to kill streaks, airstrikes, you know, and UAVs and things like that, I just don't think they're needed. I don't think you need a battle royale where people need to know where people are. It kind of takes the edge off. It takes that rotation edge off. It takes that kind of last gameplay movement excitement away, knowing where people are. And then, you know, you add the recon class that my friend TechNation is currently, people chucking out drones every second just to see where people are. It kind of takes off that surprise excitement element away from it. And that's what kind of Warzone stole. When Warzone first came out, you had a ghost perk that took you off the minimap, took you off UAVs, which was absolutely perfect. But because streamers whinged about people camping, they changed it and changed it and changed it, where they got to the point where people could just see where you were all the time, because with Ghost you had to move. And it just took the excitement away. You were just getting heavily pushed and rinsed every second. I would love a battle royale where you just rely on who sees who first, or who hears who first, not relying on kill streaks and devices to find where people are. And I am disappointed myself that Redsec has kind of come this direction, choosing to go that way. And this could just be me moaning and some people disagreeing and saying, yeah, well, you know, it's a great game, stop whinging. But it's just how I feel. Stop copying Warzone. You know, be confident in your own product. Really, please do. because none of that's in the multiplayer, and I was really hoping that, you know, it wasn't going to be in Redsec as well, but it is. I think they need to take out kill streaks and take out the class systems and just make it's what you find. You know, if you found recons or you found the ladders or you found the tool that fixes tanks, great. And if you didn't, well, tough. You know, it's all about what you find. So that's just my opinion, and I'd love to see that going forward. I'd like to see solos and trios added to the mix eventually. But hey, let's just see what this year brings, and hopefully there can be some positive changes and improvements. More with audio as well. We can continue with the audio, it'd be great. But yeah, let's just see what's going to happen. So I'll end that there, and yeah, feel free to post in the comment section below about what you think and what you're liking. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
One down, one left.
Come on. On you. Yes, mate. Yes,
Get up.
Get in, man.
I was in the skip.